What if the space race was a lie? But not some half-baked conspiracy about fake lunar landings. No. I mean, what if, while the public was being told that we were going to the moon, the truth is that we had already traveled beyond the stars, and instead of racing the Russians to that natural satellite, we were racing against a bunch of other nations to colonize a distant, resource-rich world? Well, that's the premise of Godspeed from Pandasaurus Games, who were nice enough to send us this review copy. This is the Godspeed board, representing both the sprawling exoplanet of Minos and the sprawling turn sequence that you'll follow during your 10-round colonization mission. At its heart, Godspeed is a worker placement game. Each player will have a team of 5 specialists who they will deploy over the course of each round to gather resources, conduct exploration, develop technology, and shore up infrastructure. But Godspeed is a game of finite resources and limited options, and you'll be constantly deciding how to spend those precious actions. Each round starts with a crisis at the High Council that they must address. Every nation has the option of contributing a specialist to the effort. If everyone does so, then something good happens. Draw a bonus card. Otherwise, any nation who ignored the situation takes a penalty. And that's one worker down. Then there's the auction for supplies. Specialists and resources are the currency, with the highest bidder taking first and last. Of course, the resources you bid are lost, and team members become unavailable for that round, further limiting your options. Finally, we get to the worker placement bit of the game. In turns, you'll send members of your team to the different action spaces to gain resources, build developments, shore up colonial defenses, and construct buildings in your base. But I hope you planned ahead, because each type of action can only be performed by a specific member of your team. So if you sent your engineer to help with council business earlier in the round, you're not going to be doing any infrastructure development this turn. Most actions will help you move up on these 4 prestige tracks, and controlling those is a major source of endgame points. Another way to assure your planetary dominance is through the 7 milestones, which are awarded to the first nation who manages to meet their prerequisite. You'll also get points for the different lunar season cards, leftover resources, some completed infrastructure cards, and different buildings on your base. Godspeed looks and feels big, especially when you're first learning it, but the truth is, it's got some very clean, very smooth mechanics. At the heart of every action is the question, is this where I should be spending my resources? That constant analysis would be paralytic in a longer or more complex game, but while I absolutely do not want to make it sound like Godspeed is anything light or quick, we found that it hit just the right level of brain burn to be engaging without being fussy or frustrating. Now, full disclosure here, due to circumstances, we've only played Godspeed at 2 players, and we found that it works quite well. I can't help but wonder how much it would slow down or increase in tactical complexity to account for another player or 3. But as it is, it plays 2 players with a minimum of rules alterations, and we really, really appreciate that. What works so well in Godspeed is how the game does a great job of laying out your options in front of you, putting it almost entirely in your hands how you choose to spend down those resources and assign your team. The game can be truly tense as you gamble hard on being able to take a specific action, chew on your fingers as you watch to see if your opponent is going to box you out or not. The focus on planning isn't so cumbersome as to be unwelcome, and we found that Godspeed requires your attention but won't abuse your nerves. It's just the right level of nerve-wracking. On the whole, we were pretty impressed with Godspeed. My only complaint about the presentation is that the cards feel a little thin, but the rest of it is really solid, and the gameplay is great. Definitely worth checking out. And that's it. Hey, Meeple and I thank you for watching. If you want to see more of our reviews, please click on either of these playlists. One of them is our full-length review series, and the other one is Game in a Minute, where we tell you everything you need to know about a game in about 60 seconds. If you'd like to subscribe, please click the G and ring the bell so that you get a notification every time we publish. And if you like what we do and want to support us, please check out links to our Patreon below. We'll see you next game. Flesh and blood.